on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you that Trudeau is not our leader? We have the story from the Daily Mail. President Xi humiliates Trudeau as he is caught on camera tearing strips off Canadian PM. That their conversation at the G20 has been leaked to the papers. It's not appropriate. This was the most epic cringe I've seen. And let's be real. So in this video, Trudeau is trying to talk to Xi Jinping. Cameras pop up. And man, Trudeau looks weak. It looks like a mouse staring at an elephant. Xi Jinping won't even look at his face. That's how little respect he's giving him. Look, I get it. Canada's a small nation. Xi Jinping's probably like, why is this guy thinking he can talk to me? But talk about humiliating. I don't know. Did you guys see this one?
Yeah. It's definitely an example of a language barrier.
Poor Trudeau, the poor guy. I mean, he probably had his socks ruffled from this interaction. That's probably the most confrontation he got in his entire life. And this is sad for him, mainly because he loves China. He talked about how he adored China, being able to change the economy on the dime. He adores what China's doing and is replicating those same policies inside of Canada. Of course, imprisoning his protesters, debanking people who dare speak out against him, disarming the local population there, and now, of course, offering euthanasia to, of course, the poor people there and the depressed people there. Who does that? What kind of political leader does that? Despotic leaders. And when he was looking to Xi, his beautiful overlord that he wants to replicate all of the policies, he just got smacked down right in the face. And it was incredible to see the body language there, because it said a lot. And when Xi told him off, you see Trudeau be like, I hope you have peaceful, rational discussions in the future. And then Xi's like, what? And then he walks off like Forrest Gump. It was pathetic. It was sad, and it shows you how weak a lot of these individuals are that do create the bad times that we have to live through.
It's kind of like when someone raises a pet alligator. Some people are like, I'm going to have the most dangerous animal as a pet. And then one day the animal grows up and bites them in the leg, and they have to euthanize the animal. And you just see the disbelief and sadness in the owner's face. Like, this can't happen.
Guys,
Remember when the monkey ate that woman's face?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I feel really bad for Trudeau. I do. I feel a deep sadness. It reminds me of that time that I don't know if this story is true, because I'm having trouble finding source on it, but it's Elon Musk was asked about Neil Armstrong criticizing him, and Elon cried because, Elon really looked up to Neil Armstrong, had this dream of expanding the space program and all that stuff. And to hear, that one of your heroes was mocking or criticizing you must be so brutal for Trudeau to finally get to meet his hero, only to be just poo-pooed and shoot aside. Must have been truly devastating for the man.
Absolutely.
What was it exactly that happened that caused this conversation? Did you guys hear something was leaked?
So Xi was mad because they were supposed to be having private conversations between them. The topics of those conversations was leaked to the Canadian press, obviously from Trudeau, who didn't keep his word and promised to keep conversations secret and private between the two. So this is also something that Emmanuel Macron did to Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin was also mad at him because Emmanuel Macron had a documentary film crew recording some of the conversations that they thought was private, that they thought wasn't going to be discussed to the general public, and they were talking very frankly. And this shows you that Trudeau wasn't a man of his word, wasn't a man of honor, because they agreed, hey, well, what we say here stays between us. It didn't. It was leaked to the media by Trudeau.
And then Trudeau's like,
Trudeau leaked it.
Someone in the Trudeau administration, if not Trudeau himself.
Yeah. And then Xi Jinping was like, yeah, it's not cool. I'm paraphrasing. Was like, yeah, that's not cool, dude. And then Trudeau was like, we like to have open dialogue and make sure. And Xi Jinping was like, buzz on, and just turns and walks off. What is he talking about? Open dialogue. That's not a concept that I'm familiar with. No.
I just want someone should take that interview of Elon Musk crying and deep fake Trudeau's face on it, and then have the interviewer ask the question you met your hero Xi Jinping and he was critical of your efforts. How does that make you feel? And he's just like,
he really cried, huh?
Elon?
Yeah.
So that's the story that I read. I remember seeing it a while ago. I mean, I feel for Elon in that regard. It was, I guess the story was back in, at the beginning of SpaceX, Neil Armstrong was critical of Elon Musk's attempt at a private space business. And then at some time later, after Neil Armstrong died, Elon was asked about it. Wow. And Elon, apparently a big hero of his was Neil Armstrong. I mean, that's real.
That's kind of sad. That makes
Absolutely.
me feel a little sad.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
That's a big bummer. Imagine being a little kid and seeing something so profound as a moon landing and space travel and saying, when I grow up, I'm going to change the world.
Yeah.
And you look at what Elon's doing now with SpaceX and how powerful and amazing it is. And Neil Armstrong's never going to see that because he died 10 years ago.
And
but leaving this world critical of Elon, that's gotta hurt, man.
Yeah. No,
So I can understand
agree.
how Trudeau feels, being shunned like this.
Can you imagine the boot licking that Trudeau's going to have to do now to get into the good graces of the Chinese
Or maybe
king?
he'll snap back. Oh yeah, the other night, Donald Trump, this is last night, referred to Xi Jinping as the king of China,
Yeah.
king for life. And Xi Jinping was like, I'm not the king. He's like, well, you have all the power, you're in for life, so you're basically the king. He's actually a viceroy. This is when the emperor would designate someone to become a king for life. They're actually the viceroy. They don't have familial. They can't pass the land onto their
Viceroy?
kid.
It's
not a monarchy.
Upon death, upon death, it goes back to the empire, and then the emperor can designate another viceroy to lead as the king instead.
But there's no emperor.
Well, there's the CCP as the party is in control, and there's probably one of them. It's a bunch of oligarchs, I think.
Sure. I think I like viceroy. I wonder if there's a better word though, because the emperor would determine the viceroy. The viceroy would die, and then to choose someone else,
Or not, or they would take the land.
Right,
Yeah.
or not.
So it doesn't have to be a family thing to
Correct.
to
Anybody,
to
anyone
but
could become
be
the
a
viceroy.
successor.
if there's no
And
emperor,
there are no secession rules with viceroys.
if there's no emperor, we could say viceroy, but maybe there's a better word for it. I just don't know. I mean, maybe there's a better word to describe. It's not king, but viceroy, Viceroy Xi.
Yeah,
Call him that.
It's better than president. Makes more
Viceroy.
sense.
The thing about president, we talked with the, I can't remember who we had on. We had some China experts, and they said president is the wrong word. Chairman might
Chairman
be
is the correct word,
right?
yeah,
But then all of a sudden, the media started calling him president for some
it's
reason.
stuck, yeah.
Because they're trying to normalize it, make it
Yeah.
seem like
They
they're
changed-
trying to equate what he is to our president, who's elected.
I heard that they changed the definition of the word president in China to make it so that what he was, and I don't want to get this wrong. Did you hear anything about this?
Wait, did you say Sith Lord?
Yes, they changed the definition of Sith Lord in China. They changed the definition of something. This is what I heard about 6 years ago, so that he could now be literally called the president, and it made sense. Whereas like 30 years ago, the word meant something else.
Chairman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, in 2013, Trudeau said that he most admires China when asked specifically which country he admires. He said, quote, "There's a level of admiration I actually have for China because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say we need to go green. We need to start, investing in solar." And then he went on and, of course, saying there is flexibility that I know Prime Minister Stephen Harper, who was Prime Minister at the time, quote, "must dream about having a dictatorship where you can do whatever you wanted. That I find quite interesting." That's a direct quote from Justin Trudeau from 2013.
And then just about 10 years later, he meets his hero, and it's disappointing.
Yeah.
He's probably bawling his
Play
eyes
with
out.
fire, you get burned,
And this happened publicly, so you can imagine what happens not publicly. Because you could see Z and the translator even kind of moved out of the way when the cameras were filming so that he could get Trudeau's face in the interaction. The translator was aware of the camera. He was like, we need this on tape. We need the world to see this. So this is what's happening publicly. What's happening behind the scenes when the cameras aren't there? You could only imagine how much more brazen, how much more brutal these politicians are to each other. And I wouldn't be surprised if she went up to Trudeau and just slapped him up a couple times. Man, listen here, boy. You're going to do as I say. And Trudeau's like, yes, sir. Yes, I will. Yes, no problem. I could actually see that happening. Again, that's not my own theory. I could be wrong.
I wanted to do a Winnie the Pooh joke, but I don't know how many people know the Winnie the Pooh meme about Xi Jinping. So
I think they actually pulled. Well, people thought that he looked like Winnie the Pooh, and there were
He
memes
does.
of it. And then in China, I think they banned Winnie the Pooh because
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And any mention of it on WeChat and any photos.
wow,
Pretty much.
yeah, that's
I mean,
the thing.
he looks happy. Oh, Xi Jinping actually looks like a really happy, friendly guy when I see his face. Like, I feel like I
does.
could laugh it up with him.
He does.
The most annoying thing about doing
Agreed.
segments on China is that when I'm looking for photos of individuals, you can usually see a range of emotion that represents part of the idea. So, like, if there's a story where it's like, Joe Biden says X and it's like an angry thing, you could find a picture of Joe Biden like giving a finger wave.
Yeah.
With Xi Jinping, it's like
Stone.
and yes, stone face on every context. It's just a picture of him and he's just flat face.
so true.
Like, dude should play poker. I'd love to see him
right.
play Texas Hold'em.
It's
You
similar-
should be like, I can't tell what he has.
Putin's similar. It's probably because he's like ex-KGB. It's like, do not show any emotion.
Yeah.
Your job is to hold all the cards.
Yeah, just compartmentalize, just push it all down, just keep it all in. But you're right. You're right with Xi Jinping.
Have you seen the montage someone made where it's all the different handshakes he's given, and the video is going through every photo really, really fast, and all the people are flickering and changing, and she is the exact same position the whole time through like hundreds of photos. Wow. The way his body is, the way his face is, the way his hand is, like never changes.
Yeah.
Dude's a robot or something.
Well, I bet they practice that with something, because I don't think Joe Biden, he might practice shaking people's hands, but I bet the CCP's choreographed it. Like they have like meetings and like you learn how to present yourself and how to stand and how to be like represent tallness next to
quick correction.
slouch.
Sorry, quick correction. People are saying Elon didn't cry. He almost cried.
He almost cried.
Yeah, I want to make sure we're clear. 'Cause I want to say if he cried, if he didn't. He teared up. Like Rachel Maddow when she found out Trump didn't collude with Russia. You know what I mean?
What kind of person, cheers on and admires a Chinese dictatorship? A person like Bill Gates, who also admires the Chinese dictatorship, who previously, just a couple months ago, said that they were doing a great job with their zero sickness policy, and of course also does work business with the Chinese government, and also, what's it called? What does he do? Works officially, the thing when you give someone advice.
Consulting.
Yes, sorry. I got a brain fart. He consults the CCP as well.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.